play coupled with the general trend to health and wellness, I thought maybe paddle could be interesting as kind of a new hobby or sport that folks can play to get that health and wellness part of their life in a different way, as it wasn't, obviously not very big in the U.S. yet. So in starting Reserve, I wanted a place where people could learn paddle, and then I wanted to make it a place where we build a community of folks that are really into athletics, health, wellness, building relationships, a lot of business folks, a little bit like a newer age version of a golf club, different obviously, but some similarities. And as we started Reserve, it was all about the paddle, but now as we start to continue to grow Reserve, the pillar of Reserve that represents the clubs is now, the goal is turning into more just not paddle, but more about gym and longevity and all the other assets that people are looking for nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a paddle club now, it's more paddle and wellness focused.
And if you compare the first club that you opened versus the one that you just opened in Solomia, it's vastly different. And could you explain the changes and why you think it's important going forward?
Yeah, I think the first club was very much about launching the brand in an area that was very kind of close to me and a lot of my closer relationships, like Jared and Sean. And I thought if we could get a lease in an area that was conducive to bringing in a very, great, albeit small community day one, it will be impactful. And the site speaks for itself, the beauty, the pictures you can take there, the events you can throw there. So that was kind of day one. And then as we started to grow, starting with New York and Hudson Yards, which was much the same, we started to think about how can we, find a site, piece of land that will be more conducive to something more all-encompassing, like I mentioned after your first question, that would be more than just about paddle, and the proper wellness, the proper recovery areas, the proper, food and beverage offering. Obviously at Solomia, we built it very much purpose-built to cater to both indoor and outdoor paddle. Climate here indoor is very important. The right ceiling heights, and then the food offering was very, very important to us, and having Pura Vida come in with one of their largest, if not their largest restaurant was and is going to continue to be paramount to our success. So yeah, it's a bigger piece of land. We have the luxury to do more things, but because the brand was doing what it was doing, it was the perfect time to open a club like Solomia.
And what do you think is the most valuable lesson you've learned in this industry?
I don't think it's specific to paddle. I think, when you get old enough and you've been around enough and you've seen good times, challenging times, and in my case, many different businesses, if you're really trying to be an entrepreneur, getting comfortable or naturally being comfortable with the element of entrepreneurship that deals with the unknown constantly, particularly as a startup. Like, paddle is kind of a startup as a sport in the US, and Reserve, obviously started itself on the backs of paddle. But enjoying that fight, waking up every day, that there's, you kind of know where you want to go, but there's going to be a lot of, waves and up and downs, and you embrace it. And in my case, it's also very exciting to work with a lot of young folks that are very passionate about what we're doing. And, I love the ability, I'm aging myself a little bit, but I love the ability of being able to work with, a lot of young, hungry people that wake up every day trying to make Reserve better and grow Reserve. And, we obviously have multiple different verticals to the company that, from merchant apparel to the core business, to obviously Reserve Cup and the clubs, that, there's never a dull moment, but it's not for everybody. If you want that more steady state, in life, not that it is with any job, it's a little bit of a different psyche than being a true entrepreneur. But when you love it and you have that fire in the belly, you wake up in the morning, again, like your father would very much know, you wake up wanting it. You don't have a good day every day, no question, but you wake up and you enjoy the fight of it all.
Yeah. And for one of my last questions, how do you see paddle growing in the U.S.? And what role do you think Reserve plays in this wellness movement that's still in?
I think paddle in the U.S. is still very much in the first inning. You know, we started up the company. There was 200 courts in the U.S. You know, we launched our first club in Seaplane in February of 23. Now there's maybe 500 courts, and everybody talks about it that's into paddle because it's so addictive, and people love to play, and they want to get better. They feel more athletic quickly than whatever. But it's very early. I think we're certainly all going to grow a lot that are in the business that are doing the right things, but you have to be patient. In our case, Reserve, we have to know what we are and know what we're not. We've been fortunate that in a lot of ways the brand of Reserve is bigger than the business of Reserve. People like it, they want to be around it. It's a cool young brand, but we have 4 clubs only. We have a 5th one opening. We just started with our Reserve Cups. We're just going to get online this year with our merchant apparel. So it's a very young company, but the growth of paddle, and we think of Reserve, which of course is on the backs of paddle now, but hopefully over time will be other things, is exciting. And that's part of the great part of when I looked at starting up the company. You look at your market in any business, in any company you're going to start, and you say, what is the market for this? And in our case, it was, hey, if paddle really takes, the market could be very, very big. And when you're talking about 200 courts and you think there maybe could be 5 or 10,000 in 10 years or 15 years, maybe you start up a court company like we did, right? So it's early. There's a lot to be done, and we're excited to be a part of it.
I think that's it.
That's it?
Do you think there's any?
That's good.